You know, nothing really compares with what I have dubbed as Stephen King's golden age. That is everything written from about 1974 through to about 1989. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. You're with Chris, and today I'll be wrapping up week 3 of Horror Mayhem, the awesome reading project created by the Bookish Bryants. And this week the prompt was all about classic horror. I don't think there's a bigger category you can draw upon to read a lot of classic horror. There are so many options, so many books, so many classics out there. It is just not funny. Now, in my case, I ended up having not too much time to read this week, so I decided to mainly focus on Night Shift by Stephen King. And a lot of these stories that I read, I hadn't read in a long time, and it was really good to revisit Stephen King's golden age writing because nothing else really comes close. He was really at his peak during that time, and he was just unstoppable. He was an unstoppable force in the genre at the time. And you know, we go back to his roots where everything was still fresh and he could go for the gross out, as he terms it, and just spellbind you with that early prose. So let's talk about a couple of stories in particular. The one I wanted to focus on, which was my favourite of the whole collection, is The Ledge. Now, this is all about a tennis pro who has an affair with a hood's wife. And of course they get found out, and he is summoned to this hood's apartment to make a deal or a wager. He says basically, you can have my wife and $20,000 and your freedom, but first of all you have to jump outside onto the ledge and make it all the way around the building before you get the money, your freedom, and his wife. And you know, to make things more complicated and to make the tennis pro do it, the hood actually plants drugs in his car, which is a guaranteed 40-year prison term as well. So he's definitely been blackmailed here. And what he does, he has to make it all the way around the ledge. And I don't think there's an early story of King's with more tension here and more suspense, because you're just willing him to not fall off the ledge, and there are a couple of obstacles in his way. But by the end of it, there is a nice little twist, which I really enjoyed, which is very, very satisfying, so that a certain person gets what they deserve, which is really, really good. And the next story that I'll talk about, which was a favourite as well, is Quitters Inc., which is about a man who is hopelessly addicted to smoking, and a friend of his recommends this outfit called Quitters Inc., who helped him stop smoking without drugs or anything like that. And so he's a little bit hesitant about it, but when he enters the program, nothing is what it seems. So Quitters Inc. go to extraordinary lengths to make sure that if you're caught smoking, there are penalties involved, which I won't spoil here in case you haven't read it. But these two stories in particular are very, very interesting to me because they do make up part of the anthology movie Cat's Eye with Drew Barrymore from 1985. And I enjoyed the story so much I just had to go back and re-watch Cat's Eye so that I could see how the adaptations stacked up against these stories, and they stack up very, very well. They're very faithful to the stories, and it's just brilliant. James Woods in the Quitters Inc. Mini movie is fantastic, and it's very, very 80s, let me say, because that's when smoking was everywhere before the laws came in. It was a real eye-opener, but still very, very enjoyable to this day. The other story that was really strong in this, of course, is Children of the Corn, which went on to spark several adaptations and sequels, but the story itself is quite short, but it certainly packs a punch because they're these demonic kids ruled by Malachi, the child preacher. What's funny is that as soon as a child turns 19, they get killed and sacrificed to He Who Walks Behind the Rose. But this was a very graphic story in terms of what happens to the characters in it when they get strung up at the end and offered up as a sacrifice to this dark god. There's plenty of tension there when you're stranded in the middle of a cornfield with no adults in sight and only kids bearing pickets and axes and sticks and crowbars and what have you. Makes for pretty frightening reading, let me tell you. But these stories are some of King's absolute best, and that's why I dub them as being part of Stephen King's golden age. They are just brilliant and really, really fun to revisit, and the whole collection is very, very strong. I got through most of the stories. As I said, I didn't have a lot of reading time this week. I did want to branch out and try different authors and things like that and other stories, but time did get in the way. But I was happy to have read what I did, because these stories just encompass what classic horror is all about. So as the project nearly draws to a close, we've got the final week next week, or this week, and it's all about contemporary horror, which there's a lot of options there. I am going to have a little bit of a head start on something else I've picked, which is If You Like It Darker by Stephen King. I received my copy on Thursday, started it this weekend, and I'm really, really enjoying it, and I will review that separately on the channel, but it'll make up part of my week 4 for contemporary horror. And I'll also be reading At Home with the Horrors and a couple of other things there as well. I'm going to get stuck into a little bit of Darcy Coates, because she's got a really good collection there I'd like to sink my teeth into. So it's nearly over, folks, and next weekend I'll be wrapping everything up in a nice neat little bow for Horror Mayhem, which has been a fantastic project, and really enjoying what the other hosts have come up with as well. It's been a real blast, and can't wait to do it next year. But yeah, that is it for today, for week 3 of Horror Mayhem. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, offer up any feedback as usual, and I'll deliver the best content I can. And until the next video, guys, that isn't far away at all, happy reading.